As the dust settles on the budget 2017, we're beginning to see some of the impact on the retail financial services industry. A relatively obscure provision of the budget has suddenly come into some prominence, and that's the provision to abolish indexation relief on capital gains by companies. You wouldn't have thought that would have an impact on the retail financial services industry, but in fact it does, because it affects life assurance companies and their life assurance policies and the tax treatment of life assurance funds. Essentially, indexation relief has in the past taken most of the tax out of possible gains on the funds within life policies, and that's affected endowment policies, and it's affected bonds, single premium life assurance investment bonds in the UK. That's going to stop from January, and that's going to mean that there's going to be some tax on capital gains going forwards, and that'll affect a lot of endowment policy owners, and it'll affect a lot of bond holders. And I think we'll see, if this carries on and isn't changed in some way, this will see further funds coming out of the many billions that are held in single premium investment bonds. Another change, which did get some more publicity and was well trailed in advance, was the VCT and EIS tightening up of rules. And I think that's going to have an impact going forward on the demand for these sorts of products. Quite a lot of them have in the past been sold on the basis that they're pretty safe investments, or many of them are pretty safe investments. And the government has always wanted the reward in the form of tax relief for investors taking risk. Investors don't terribly like taking risks, and they would like to see the returns coming from their tax reliefs. And if the government manages, as they haven't in the past, to make these rules effective from now on, I think that will have an impact on the roughly £500 million that goes into these areas. And then finally there was pensions. Pensions was an area where one might say the dog didn't bark in the night, and the government clearly didn't have the powers or the support from backbenchers to be able to undertake the radical tax changes that some people expected. And as a result, to everybody's relief, I think within the pensions world, the annual allowance was not changed. There were no changes to the tapering rules, perhaps not even to improve them, and the lifetime allowance was increased